I knew you couldn't get enough of our sexy content. Let's have a quickie. Hello, welcome back to the Salty Sex Cast. It's your host, Mariah. I'm coming at you from my new home office. Recently, we switched our kids around for some different rooms. That means I lost my big, beautiful basement office. And now but I got to decorate a new office and floral wallpaper, beautiful images behind me. It's really fun. It was a lot of work. But I'm really excited to show it off. And since I'm on camera all the time, I figured I'd treat myself. But I just want to welcome you all to another quickie. And this one is giving us permission to be ourselves and look back on history and what we would have liked to have known. So being really kind and patient with ourselves. But before I get too far into this episode, I just want to thank you so much for pushing play, for being brave enough to join the conversation. We love to hear from our listeners, so please don't hesitate to reach out. You can get a hold of us at saltysexcast@gmail.com. Follow us on all social media, and we have our website, saltysexcast.com. And so I posed a question in a Facebook group, and this is all female or feminine presenting folks in this group. And I asked, what is something you'd like to tell your younger self about sex or sexuality if you could? So if you can go back and tell yourself this, what would you tell yourself? And so these are all adult women, and it's just beautiful what they say and just giving themselves permission. And I wish when I was younger, more people said this to me, including myself. Like I wish I could go back and say some things to myself, because there's so much shame that I held, so much misinformation, and I just needed someone else to give me permission. And so I'm just going to read off a few comments because I think they're beautiful. But one lady says, learn to enjoy it and not be so worried and stuck in your head. If I could tell you how much wasted time and energy I was so worried about, am I doing this right? Is this person like this? Do I look okay? Do I feel okay? Am I different than other people? Instead of just enjoying the moment, so much wasted energy and just giving myself permission to do that and be fully present and enjoying that moment would be so cool. Wish I could go back and get all that wasted time back. But moving forward, that's all we can do. Another one said, it's about your pleasure. And if you're not invested in that, leave. So if your partner or partners isn't invested in your pleasure as well, find a new partner. It's really important that this is a partnership in both pleasure and enjoyment and not just one-sided. There's so many on here, so many wonderful ones. I'd love to just read them all, but that wouldn't be a quickie. We would be here all night. But another one said, to let shame go. You are supposed to like sex. This gives so many people so much permission we've been craving. Society tells us if we like sex that we are easy or loose or something's wrong with us, for women at least. And so it's a really hard thing to grapple with when you are enjoying it. And so, is something wrong with me? Am I a bad person? And that's going on in your head. So it's almost this weird game that you want to enjoy it, but you don't want to. And so just to be able to give yourself permission to enjoy it is really, really cool. I love that. Another one wrote that someone else's sexual needs are not my responsibility to fulfill. I think this one hits really close to home for me, especially early on in my younger years, where I was easily talked into providing sexual fulfillment for other people and putting my needs completely to the side and not worrying about that. And allowed myself to be that object that fulfilled that for other people. And you lose yourself when you do that, and you lose a part of you that's taken me a long time to regain. And so it's just really cool that someone else has, called that out as well. This one's beautiful. Not everyone is good at it. Thank you. There are so many things we are still fumbling around on. We're not all great at it the first time we try. It's really funny how, the ego can get in there and people say like, I'm so amazing at this, but really maybe they were amazing and a great fit for one partner, but another partner, it's not their vibe. And so it's really interesting to see just how humbling it can be when, like not everyone's great at it, and they don't all have to be either. Someone else said, don't wait for your wedding night. I think that one was an important one, again, I feel like that's a very religious and outdated thing. And you can have really safe, enjoyable sexual encounters with others before you're married, or you don't get pushed into marriage so you can have that experience, because that's others' experiences as well, feeling like they have to be married. You don't have to stay in any relationship you don't want to be in. That's another one. I think there's a lot of shame in the concept of a failed relationship or a failed marriage, or you didn't work hard enough at that, or you didn't put enough of yourself in that. But some relationships just aren't meant to be, and sometimes they can create more harm than good. And it's okay to let that go. It's also okay to grieve that loss too, or at least the loss of that idea of that person and happy, fulfilling relationship. And when you're walking away from that, you're either starting anew. I even hesitated to say starting over, because you're not starting over. You're still learning so much that you get to take with you, that you're taking from that relationship and that experience to build upon for the next one when it comes around. This one says that love is love for ourselves and everyone else, whether that be male or female or both. I think that's really important. I love that they also added for ourselves too. Don't forget to love yourself. It's so important. These are so wonderful. It's just beautiful to see these women being able to recognize what was their need when they were younger, or before they were as seasoned, I don't know, or experienced now, and taking that life experience and putting it into something that you'd love to share. You'd love that if someone else could have shared with you. I'm still needing some of these pieces of advice and reassurance and affirmations on this all the time. I have a sex podcast and I still need those things. This one's beautiful. No matter what you've been told, most of them don't care if you're a little overweight. And a good sized portion of them don't care if you're a lot overweight. Again, that's the biggest lie society has told us, that you can only be sexy or loved or wanted if you fit a very specific beauty standard. I think it's so wrong. And we probably know that just because of all the niches that are out there, and OnlyFans and Pornhub and everything else. People like different sizes. They like different body types. There is a flavor for everyone out there. And I think it's just so wonderful. And so not to beat yourself up to fit one size. I think that's really important. And so this experience really just told me, and I could read so many more, but just looking at that, to be vulnerable, to ask yourself, what did I need? What would I have needed to hear and believe to be a healthier, happier human being? And we can still ask ourselves that now. We can still say, what do I need to hear? What do I need someone else to tell me? Or what do I even need to tell myself to be really happy and healthy and secure in who I am, my relationship with sex, my sex and sexuality with others? I think it's just so important. So love that opportunity. And if you're one of the ladies that provided some feedback on that post, I just want to say thank you so much, because it really does validate a lot of things that so many of us need to hear over and over and over again. It's not a one-time thing. So hope you enjoyed this little quickie on just some, validation and affirming, and, sharing that even those folks who are adults now and maybe be very secure, we can still use some of that advice, and we can use that as an example for how we want to raise the next generation. Again, feel free to tune in to our website, saltysexcast.com. We would love if you wanted to join us on Patreon, and that's patreon.com/saltysexcast, and be a financial backer behind the podcast. Really helps us get our message out. And I just want to say a giant thank you to absolutely everyone who has, one time or another, if they're a current patron or past patron, you truly have helped us get this message out and our mission and further our mission. So thank you so much. I will see you all next week. Bye. Thanks for the quickie. See you next week.